Hey there everyone, Max here from Lux Fitness and Wellness Club bringing you a special video number 5 for our December ankle series. Now over the past 4 weeks I've gone through some mobility, stability, dynamic balance, and strength exercises for the ankle. So for this 5th video I decided to revert back to week number 1 topic, which was ankle dorsiflexion, and go over how I help my clients achieve more dorsiflexion as we work through mobility drills to increase that range of motion. Now as I mentioned in the first week, dorsiflexion is going to be a movement that a lot of individuals lack. Say a normal individual has about 0 to 30 degrees in a perfect manner. A lot of clients that I see maybe can't get more than 20 degrees of that dorsiflexion. Now we'll be doing movements such as the combat stretch like I went over in week 1 to help gain that range of motion, but that often isn't going to happen for the first few weeks that we're doing it. It's not going to happen overnight. It can often take time. So in the meantime, when I want clients to be able to get into further depths, whether it be a squat, lunge, split squat, anything that's going to be knee dominant over the foot, I'm going to use something that's called a heel wedge. And what this is going to do is raise the heel up of the individual about an inch, inch and a half, depending on the thickness of the plate that I have. Now, I often will use a 5 or 10 pound plate because that's just about enough of a wedge that I'll have for my clients to need. So the reason this is so beneficial is, say I have a client that has about 15 degrees of dorsiflexion. So once they hit that 15 degrees, the shin stops moving over the foot, and then they're lacking and they can only get so much depth in whatever movement we're doing. When I raise the heel, instead of starting the individual at say 0 degrees, I start them at -10 because now the foot is slanted down, which is called plantar flexion. So now when their knee travels over their toe, which is dorsiflexion occurring, they're going to be able to gain what will be 25 degrees of that motion because we're starting further back at a -10. This is going to allow us for a greater range of motion in the movement and more muscle involvement because it's a greater range of motion that we're doing. So the way that this is going to look, so first I'm going to show myself doing a body weight squat without any heel wedge. So I'm going to come over here, get into a normal squat stance, and then I'm just going to come down and I'm going to squat through here. So as we can see, my knees stop moving forward to a certain point. I can only get so far. So now I'm going to take 2 10-pound plates that I have here in the studio, and I'm going to stand on top of them. I'm going to have my client use a normal squat stance that they would do. And what they're going to utilize is the last sort of inch or so of their heel on the back of this plate. I don't want too much of their foot onto the plate because then that's going to leave them not balanced and their toes might come up as they descend into the movement. So I want just enough that their heels are elevated, but not so much that it changes their center of gravity as they're squatting. And then from here, I'm going to have the individual just do whatever exercise that we're performing. Goblet squat, front squat, back squat. If it's a split squat that I have with this heel wedge, they're just going to go through it normal. So as you can see, the difference here is going to be my knee is able to travel much further over my toe because the heel wedge allows for that to happen. Again, I'm starting at a negative degree of dorsiflexion, which I can then go further, getting the knee further over the toe. Like I said, this is going to be important because the mobility drills will take time. They don't happen over the first week. It's going to take weeks of trying it. So this allows me to sort of help the client gain a better range of motion, more muscle involvement, without having to wait for them to gain it through mobility drills on their own. All right, folks, there you have it. That's a really easy, simple tool I use with my clients to help us gain more range of motion in our lunges, squats, and split squats. As always, I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure to drop the video a like. Be sure to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Lux Fitness and Wellness Club, and look forward to seeing you in the next year, 2022, as we keep going on with these video series. Have a good one, folks.